guys, how's it going? So we're back out in the cut flower garden and I got more cabbage. So this is kind of a follow-up video to, I think, the last one you just saw of us picking up trees down at the garden center, which I'm so excited about. We're gonna place those today. I'm gonna plant more cabbage so that we've got 2 beautiful rows leading up to our orchard, and that's pretty much the plan. So yesterday we got these 32 stonehead cabbages planted along this walkway, and this run of drip tape is not connected. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it there just because I don't really want to put it away and have to get it back out for the next crop if I decide to need it, I guess, there. But the cabbage will grow over it and kind of cover it. We've got some Brussels sprouts right here. There's 8 of those. And then over here, I planted some Ruby Perfection cabbage and some Victoria celery. So here are the red cabbage. One of them looked a little sad in its pack, but we might be all right. Everything else looks really good. It was 34 degrees last night. Everything looks fine. There's the celery right there. So today, you can see I've got my cart there. I've got cabbage and biotone and compost. We're planting 32 Copenhagen market cabbages on this side. So just imagine how sweet that's gonna look to see those great big cabbages all the way up to the orchard area there. And I know that's a lot of cabbage, but I do intend a lot of the stuff that we grow in this space and around in our other garden, I give away to friends and family, or we donate it to the food bank. So I just think it's fun to grow stuff and try out different designs, and I love the way cabbage looks. I love to tuck it in everywhere if I possibly can because it's easy and pretty. So anyway, I'm excited about this. So the Copenhagen market, it does call for the same spacing as the stonehead cabbage, 18 inches. So I'm hoping that they're roughly the same size-ish. I couldn't find enough stonehead to repeat the same exact variety, but it'd be kind of nice to have 2 varieties anyway. But the Copenhagen market is the one I grew last year that got enormous. And I don't know if it was the compost or the food or the year. I don't know what the deal was, but we'll throw a picture up on the screen. It was just like one of those prize-winning cabbages. I was so proud of it. It's funny the things we grow proud of in the garden, isn't it? So I am going to just lightly amend each one of the areas. I'm going to plant the cabbage with both land and sea compost, and I did bring the biotone starter fertilizer out, so I'm going to use that today, as well as side dress all the plants I planted yesterday. I did not use it yesterday because I had Samantha Grace out here with me, and I didn't really want that kind of like powder in the air or the stink or any of that. So anyway, that's the plan, and then we're going to go over. Aaron untied all the trees last night, so I'll show you what they look like. We're gonna get them down and kind of place them around the new property. So here are the cabbage right there. We've got the fertilizer, the compost. I'm trying to work through any of the broken bags that we have. And then here's the row. So we tested the water out. I don't know why there's just like 2 wet spots, but it was working real even last night. These just didn't dry out. That's kind of weird. So I'll be planting them roughly 18 inches apart in between these 2 runs right here. Everything is done out here, everything's watered in, everything's fertilized. Aaron's not quite ready to move the trees, so I think I've got some time to run and get those serendipity alliums planted, which I wanted to do yesterday and ran out of time. So let's run to the greenhouse and grab those. Are you gonna help me plant the alliums? Did you bring your wrench out to help me? That's awesome. Can you take one of those to our cart? Good job. This cart right over here, the black one. Okay, now we're gonna go out to where the big fountain is, okay? All right, so the alliums are gonna go in this garden here. I need to turn the fountain back on. It's not as windy as it was earlier. I'll get that going. Look at that thundercloud plum. Is that not the most beautiful thing? Oh, I can't wait till it puts on even more size. It's gonna be so glorious. And of course, the daffodil pots are looking amazing from both sides now. In fact, let's just hop over there real quick. Hey Benjamin, come look at these daffodils. They are beautiful. Look at that. Yeah, they're like giant bouquets, aren't they? So the north side is still a little bit shorter than the south side, but that doesn't even matter. I mean, they're just so gorgeous. Love, love it. So these alliums are going to join these other alliums right here. It's gonna be absolutely beautiful when these are all in bloom. I cannot wait. All of these are still the serendipity variety, and they all came from in front of the gazebo. So just real quick, these grow 15 to 20 inches tall. You can see the blooms right there. They're fantastic perennial. Zone 4 through 8, and they bloom mid to late summer, and it seems like their blooms, to me, last a really long time. You opening the other gate?
I also open this one, and then you can come through in the walkway right here.
Oh, cool. That's important to have a way to get through. Good job, buddy. And I like these alliums so much, even when they're not in bloom, because their leaves, they just look like a beautiful, thick-leaved ornamental grass. And they don't seem to like brown out or anything like that. They're just a really fun texture in the garden. So I do plan on planting something kind of back behind these, maybe like truffle with pink gomphrena, to bring in that mid to late color. Well, they start blooming pretty much when you start planting them. So once I can get my hands on them and it's warm enough, probably in May, I'll plant those, and then they will carry on color through the rest of the season after the alliums are done. And then I do have a light yellow rose in here. There's 3 of them that are just like a pale yellow. So I think that'll be beautiful to have the pale yellow rose, which they will start blooming at the same time the alliums are blooming, and then they will still be blooming when the gomphrena will bloom. I know, that was one cabbage I had left over from this morning. Good job. Okay, so how should we do this, bud? Should we do it like this?
I think I need to do the wrong. I think I did the wrong. I think Mama did it the wrong way.
I did it the wrong way? What's the right way?
It's
Can you show me the right way?
It's right over here by fruit.
I think you're right, Benjamin. I think we should plant it right there. By the tree?
We can grow up by the tree, by the plant. We can grow up over there.
Do you think it's gonna miss being next to its friends? Yeah?
I know.
Okay, so the goal here, I'm actually going to move this one a little bit, probably like right in here. So I'm gonna wanna end up with a drift kind of like right in here. And then in the back, we'll have the gomphrena or something as similar to that. Is that the last one? Good job, buddy. And then kind of where Benjamin is putting the 4-packs, it's a very good placement actually, because that shows kind of how I want to start the next drift of shorter things. So maybe some kind of like a supertunia or something that I can plant along the edge here and kind of like just taper it in. So it'll be a really nice layered effect. So let's get these planted, bud. Oh yeah, that looks good. It kind of caps off that drift. So there's the 2 new ones. Those are the 2 that were wintering in the greenhouse. All the rest of them were from around the gazebo. So now we'll have a nice drift right here of purple, a drift of something here, and a drift of something right there. And it looks like Benjamin was planting one of my cabbage tags. All right, buddy, can you turn the hose off, please? We're gonna go place some trees with your daddy with a tractor. You get it turned off, bud? Nope, wrong way. Other way. Yep. You got it. Good job. All right.
We can do the hose later.
Yep. So now I think we can place these trees.
Let's do it.
Oh, I'm so excited, especially once we saw them all in tide. Look at the canopy on this redbud right here. There's like two of them in particular have really big canopies, and they're just loaded up with buds. And I'm not even sure, Erin, exactly where these are gonna go. You might even have thoughts on where you want these to go. I don't know if you've thought about it at all.
I don't really care. I think we should just
We just know we need trees.
They're easy to move around, so I think we should just kind of place them where you think. And then
go from there.
Yeah, if you want to move stuff around from there, let's do it.
Okay. And we did go over tractor hand signals. So I think I know what I need to do. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna stand on the trailer and tip the trees so he can get underneath them with the forks, and that way it's easy. I think we will be fine.
Yeah, I think we'll be good.
Yeah. So here we go. First 3 have been placed, I think. So the driveway's here. We will have a big walkway kind of coming through this area. I thought it might be pretty because they've got a 20-foot spread, right? Or 25. God, I can't remember. Hold on. 25-foot spread. To kind of cluster them together in a grouping of 3 right here might be really striking. Instead of like a little bit of this and that everywhere. Yeah, we'll see. Isn't the sky gorgeous today? It's freaking windy again, but the sky's blue and beautiful. All alone up here in the soon-to-be flower bed. It's gonna look awesome. The purple leaves up against the blue spruce. Oh, so pretty. Oh my goodness, the wind out there is just absolutely horrible. I feel like I'm covered in dirt. It's just blowing around out there. So I decided to run into the greenhouse here to give you my thoughts on the tree placement. I think we did a pretty good job. I think that they're pretty close to where we're gonna end up putting them. We do need to go out and really mark out where we want our pathways. We may have to shift some, like a few feet maybe. But as we were placing them, I started to make a mental note of all of the different varieties we have in each corner, what color of leaves they have during the growing season versus what color of leaves they have in the fall, and then different textural types and that sort of thing. Because I want to make sure we have a really good blend of everything. So I decided to sketch up just a little list of everything that I have in each one of those corners, just to decide if I needed to swap anything or if I need to add something else in. And I do know I need to add more in. Like, I have no crab apples out there and I want a lot of crab apples. So that's something that I'll definitely be leaving space for. But I thought it might be helpful just to show you part of my planning process. So this is our lane right here, which, as you know, it's just dotted with autumn blaze maple trees on both sides. Those are green in the summer, bright red in the fall. In this far corner here, so this is the northeast corner of our property, I have these trees here. So Shiloh Splash Birch on the top there has green leaves in season, yellow fall color. Corinthian Lindens are green leaves that turn yellow. I have 3 in that corner. Forest Pansy Redbuds, there are 3 now in a clump, so purple leaf color during the season, orange to red in the fall. The Katsura tree, green in season, orange yellow in fall. Stewartia, I don't know how to say that exactly. Green in season, bronze purple in fall. Renaissance Reflection Birch, which I actually have over here right now. I think I'm gonna move it over here. Green in season, golden yellow in fall, and then the Autumn Brilliant Serviceberry, which is a multi-trunk tree. Green in season, and then brilliant, beautiful red-orange color in the fall. And then for evergreen interest so far, I have a Scotch Pine, which is green, and then a green spruce. So I need to add in maybe a touch more red fall color, maybe another red leaf tree during the season, and then, which I can get all of that in crabapple trees, and then blue evergreens. In this corner here, we don't have quite as much space. But I've got 2 Corinthian lindens, which are green in season, and then yellow in fall. Royal frost birch, purple leaf color in season, yellow, orange, red in fall. The eastern redbud, if it lives after I transplanted it last week. Green in season, yellow in fall. Forest pansy redbud, purple in season, orange, red in fall. And I have 3 blue spruces, so I know I need to add in more red fall color and green evergreen interest. And then the last forest pansy redbud ended up right up here because the driveway that currently is here is going to be driveway no more. We have that huge blue spruce, so we kind of bumped it forward. It's going to be right where the gravel is now. So the blue, the purple redbud, and then the ash tree in our lawn, which is green, is right over here. This is not to scale, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it kind of gives you an idea of how I'm thinking of this space. And there's something so nice about just running down, seeing something you like, picking it up, and then just plunking it wherever you have space, instead of having this super planned out area, which, I mean, there is benefit to that as well, because then you don't deal with accidentally overcrowding or getting, I don't know, there's just some more thought put behind it, obviously. But this has been a really fun space, and just seeing the trees sitting there in their cans is so fun. It just looks like the space is gonna come alive. So I think this next week we were gonna do the auger thing and get them planted, and we may still if we end up having time, but I think the most important thing is to figure out where we want our pathways, and then also to figure out what kind of trees we want in the grass section. Right in here, this is gonna be grass, you know, from the house, which is right in here. All this will be grass, but we're gonna put in, you know, big flower beds, and then we want big shade trees dotted in here. And then we also left space for a great big shade tree right here. We want something that will fill in this space that we can limb up, so that when you're driving here you can see underneath it and see to the cut flower garden right there. And then right in this space we determined we were going to put our raspberry beds, which are going to go in this next week because I'm getting my plants next week. So anyway, lots of fun stuff. And that's it for today's project. I'm super happy to have those trees out there. I'm going to go out and water them right now. All the other ones out there got water this morning. I didn't realize we were supposed to get wind today. I should just like plan on it. We usually get one really strong windstorm every week, plus breezy days almost. Seems like in the spring almost every day we've got some sort of breeze. And that's why we stress irrigation so much, like running drip to pots, running drip in our flower beds, and we're constantly trying to improve our irrigation system because it's so important where we are, where we get so much wind and only 9 inches average rainfall in a year. It's really tough on plants, and it can be tough on us, especially if you've got a large space and you're trying to keep plants look nice. So anyway, looking nice. Did I say look nice? That didn't make sense. Anyway, I think the wind's getting to me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.